Alright guys, I told you I was going to bring out a tutorial, but you didn't listen, did ya? Anyway, here is a tutorial of how to do your own self-cut. Number one, you need a comb. Comb in the direction of your waves. If you're a waver, even if you're not a waver, just comb in the direction that your hair grows. This helps lift the hair off the scalp if you're a waver, and it just makes it a more even cut. But I comb from my crown or my swirl or whatever you want to call it to my hairline in every direction, so in the direction the hair grows basically.
Love you when you bend down, pause. All the girls them I give you bigger plus. You know be shit you be sus. All my family must do like you by force.
So this is what we call a level 1 guard, or level 1 I call it. Obviously you attach it to the clipper, and usually I cut with a level 1 but open. That's the open position, that's the closed position. But I'm gonna cut halfway. So if I say open or close or halfway, that's what it means. I'm gonna put my lever halfway, and I'm gonna cut from my crown outwards in the direction of the waves.
Baby, me I no be jumble. I go fight for your love like a Django. Yeah, tell me what you want do. I go do anything where you want do. Yeah, baby, me I no go funny. Cause it love you where you give me girl over me. Oh, baby, girl,
This, my friends, is the Andis T-liner. I don't know the rest of the name, I forgot where it is, but you can just Google it, I'm sure you'll find it, or put it on Amazon, you'll probably find it there as well. But I use this to create my first guideline, which is basically the bottom of the fade, and everything below this line is going to be skinned off. Like, as you can see, I've skinned off my thing. It's looking all shiny and that. I get my clipper again and I put it in the open position. So I'm going to create my second guideline with this. I like to use a flicking motion just so I don't create a solid line that's hard to fade out later on in this tutorial. But yeah, it's about a centimeter above the first guideline I made. So here is my level 1 again. I attach it to my clipper. I close the clipper, or close the lever, you can call it. And I'm going to create a third guideline, which is about a centimeter above the second guideline I've made just a second ago. And you can use a flicking motion. I recommend a flicking motion so you don't make solid lines again that are hard to blend or fade out later on in this haircut. So here is my 1.5 guard, and I basically use this, or the purpose of this guard is to debulk the area just above the guideline you just recently made, so above the third guideline. And what I do is I do basically flicking motions again, and it just helps to make the transition or the blend look way smooth from hair to no hair. Also, it's in the open position, and you can always gradually close the lever until you're taking off enough hair for you to feel comfortable with. You don't want to take off too much, of course, but if you're not taking off enough, you can always gradually close it. So this is my zero guard, and I basically use this to attack the line in between my first and third line. I hope that made sense. So I'm basically trying to point it out here, and I'm going to use a flick out motion, and I'm going to put it in a closed position, or close the lever, and gently just work your way along that line. Try not to go too far above it, and obviously you can do it slightly below and work your way up to the line, but always flick at the line. Now, this is one of the most important pieces of equipment you could have. That or a comb. So if you're a waver, it'd most likely be a brush. I prefer a brush over a comb when I'm doing my own hair. But basically, every time you cut against the grain, it changes what you see. So you're trying to comb your hair back or brush your hair back into position so you can actually see the work that you've done. So if I had obviously 4 arms and I can hold a mirror and look into the other mirror and cut at the same time while I brush with my other arm, I would, but I can't. So I have to do a few strokes with the clipper and then brush, 3 strokes with the clipper and brush again. Now here, I've got no guard on my clipper, but what I'm going to do is close the lever, and you can either use the flat bit or the corners. I use the flat bit for bigger areas and the corners for more difficult areas, if that makes sense. But you're always, again, doing a flick out motion. Now, I know there's other barbers out there that don't fade in the same sequence as me, so they would have done this bit and faded up to the second guideline, and they would have had a closed lever and worked their way up to a more open lever, which is to meet the second guideline. But I prefer doing it this way, so oh well. Now I've got my T-liner again, and I'm going to use this to shape up my beard. First of all, it is very difficult. You have to be basically some sort of mirror ninja and know your angles and know how to hold that mirror and look into the second mirror and make sure you don't force it. Basically, be very gentle, take your time, work your way around the natural hairline or the natural beard line, and just be delicate, basically. I don't know about you, but I haven't let a barber touch my beard in years. But when my barbers were, I used to get excited because they used to always trim the lip line of the moustache first and then do the outer line of the moustache after. And that lip line, no one realizes, but it makes the whole shape up of around your mouth look really sharp. So it's definitely worth tackling or giving it a try. Make a chop, I tell you nobody, yeah. Make a be your supernova. I could buy you things from Fashion Nova, yeah. I no go do you Django Lover. I could bless you with my Godzilla. Make a be your supernova. I could buy you things from Fashion Nova, yeah. I no go do. Now for the shape up. As you can see, I'm about to spray my Himalayan water on my head. More on the hairline. It's not Himalayan water, by the way. It's probably just like Evian or something. But I just like calling it Himalayan water. Because I'm worth it. Now, kids, do not try this at home. And people, if you don't trust yourself with a blade, I think it's called a cutthroat blade, yeah? If you don't trust yourself, don't bother. Just use the clipper. Use the Andis T-liner or outliner, or whatever they call it. Just be careful. And I personally like doing my shape up and working my way from the middle to the sidebars. Other barbers like to work from the sidebars to the middle. I don't really care like which way you do it, as long as you do it correctly. Try not to go into your hairline too much or take away too much of your hairline. Work with your natural hairline and you should be good. Oh baby girl, you got to trust in me. If you give me make a chop, I tell you nobody, yeah. Make a be your supernova. I could buy you things from Fashion Nova, yeah. So this little beauty is a eyebrow blade. I prefer to use it over the cutthroat blade to do the curved bit at the bottom of the sidebars, only because my skin in that area is fairly sensitive and I've cut myself a few times using a cutthroat blade, so I prefer to use the eyebrow blade. I know that jungle, I go bless you. Oh baby, me I no be jumble. I go fight for your love like a Django. Yeah, tell me what you want do. I go do anything where you want do. Yeah. And that, my good people, is how you give yourself a quarantine lockdown self cut. More for waivers, but if you use the same principles, I'm sure you can do it for most, if not all, hairstyles. One last thing as well is always check over your work. If you see things that could be improved, then improve them, please. Obviously it makes the trim look way better, but that's how you do it, guys. Enjoy. My family must like you by force. Baby, me I no go funny, but it love the way you give me girlie over me. Oh baby girl, you got to trust in me.
Give me make a chop, I tell you nobody, yeah. Make I be your supernova. I could buy you things from Fashion Nova, yeah. I no go do you Django Lover. I could bless you with my Godzilla. Make I be your supernova. I could buy you things from Fashion Nova, yeah. I no go do you Django Lover. I could bless you with my Godzilla. Supernova, Fashion Nova, Django Lover. Bless you with my Godzilla.
This one's actually been emotional. Like, as you can see, I'm close to tears, but with tongue guard. Trim's all loud off. Huh?